Greetings, friends, and welcome here to Prog Monster. My name is Murph. I am the host of this show, a show that is dedicated to progressive rock and other forms of rock music. So it's an overcast and rainy day, and we're doing an episode of Monday night's look back at a classic rock album, which is going to feature this album, Rust Never Sleeps. So basically what I do on this episode is I take a classic rock album that occurred for me 15 years or longer ago that is in my ranking system a masterpiece, a level 1 or a level 2. And in this case it's a level 1. The album Rust Never Sleeps by Neil Young and Crazy Horse. Okay, and then I'm just going to give you some of the vitals on it. This album was released June the 22nd, 1979, and if for those of you may have recently watched the episode of my favorite rock albums from the year 1979, this was one of them. I think it was number 6 from the top. Really good album, fantastic. I'm surprised I actually hadn't done a classic look back at it. It was on my charts at one time not too long ago, and not on my charts, on my playlist. And usually when an album's been on my playlist for a length of time, especially if it's a classic one, it'll usually get a Monday night look back at a classic rock, as long as it's a good one, and this one is a great one. But it didn't, so here we are doing it now. So it was released, it was at the Indigo Studio, was where it was, the studio they worked on it, Indigo Ranch Studio in Malibu, the Triad Studio in Fort Lauderdale, and also the Woodland Studio in Nashville. And if you're hearing a little bit of a drumming noise, that's the rain outside. It's raining quite heavy here. So you have, the length is about 38 minutes or so. It's on the Reprise label and produced by Neil Young, David Briggs, and Tim Mulligan. Okay, so basically appearing on this album, at least on the first 4 tracks, is Neil Young alone. He plays vocals, guitars, harmonica on those tracks. There's one track, I believe it's Sail Away, he doesn't play the harmonica on. I mean, Pocahontas, there's no harmonica in that. But the rest of the tracks have that in it. Then appearing on Come Sail Away, or Come Sail Away. No, we're not doing Styx today. We're doing on Sail Away, which is Nicolette Larson on vocals on this one, Joe Osborne on bass, and Carl T. Hamill on drums. Then the back side of the album, or the flip side of the album, or the B side of the album if you prefer, you have Crazy Horse, which features Frank Pancho Sampedro on electric guitars, backing vocals, Billy Talbot on bass and backing vocals, and Ralph Molina on drums and backing vocals. So that's the vital statistics on the album. Now about the album, I'm just gonna make a little move there. Okay, so about the album, so pretty heavy album for Neil Young. Most of the Neil Young albums that are heavy I really like. This one, no exception to that. But the stuff I actually like the best are on the first side, which is, well, you've got, there is no, I like everything on the album. So the Out of the Blue is the acoustic part, really good. Typical kind of folky sound to it that Neil Young has become known for, more of an acoustic, of course, and it's an acoustic sound to this particular track. The Thrasher, which is something I like quite a bit as well. Ride My Llama, good tune. Pocahontas, of course, one of the better tunes. Pocahontas, I believe, was originally supposed to be on the Chrome Dreams album. That never actually came out until this year. It's like some 40 years later. Sail Away, really good song. I love the vocal parts on here, really cool. And ends the side really well. The flip side of the album starts out with Powderfinger. That's a great tune. It's a story about a young man having to deal with confrontation. Yeah, really cool, typical Neil Young kind of storytelling, you know. Welfare Mothers. This one's a heavier track. Lots of really banging guitars on this. Sedan Delivery, another good track. And then it ends with the raunchy Out of the Black version of Hey Hey My My. Real electric guitar on this, heavy soloing, really distorted. You know, and in fact, the first time I ever heard that tune, which I heard on Rust, Live Rust, I was kind of, when I first put it on my stereo, it was all distorted, and I thought there's something wrong with the stereo. I was trying to adjust the knobs and everything, and then my friend came in, "What are you doing, man?" "I'm trying to adjust the knobs. Listen to the distortion in this." He says, "It's supposed to be like that. That's the way that song is." So, yeah. Good thing I got friends that know what's going on. Anyways, today's album, Rust Never Sleeps, really good. Excellent. Right in that wheelhouse with Neil Young. I love this album. I think it's one of his best. Definitely one of his best heavier albums for sure. And just proliferate it with fantastic tracks. If you like Neil Young, I'm sure if you like Neil Young, you probably already know about this. But if you're trying to decide where to enter in the Neil Young discography, this is not a bad one to choose. I like Harvest as well. Harvest is probably the one most people would suggest to get into his tune. But if you want to get into the Neil Young and Crazy Horse stuff, this is one of the best ones to start with. This will get you fired up and ready for the other stuff. And I've got quite a bit of his stuff now, but I really like this album a lot. So there you have it. Neil Young, Crazy Horse, Rust Never Sleeps. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Monday Night's Look Back at a Classic Rock Album featuring Rust Never Sleeps by Neil Young and Crazy Horse. If you did like it, please hit the like button and subscribe. It's much appreciated. Any comments about anything I've said or anything about the album or anything about Neil Young or Crazy Horse or any of that stuff, you can put those in the comment section down below. And hit the notification bell so you don't miss this content. And we will see you next week on Monday Night's Look Back at a Classic Rock Album. Take care.